have your powerful holofoil Gyarados. Notice the original holofoil design of those base set cards. We have two great options for this deck. We have a blue as well as a green. You can hear it does have the original damage counters there, which are these small stones, which I think are really cool. Alright, and where did I put those sleeves there? Oh, my apologies, I didn't see you come in there. Please have a seat, make yourself comfortable. How can I help you? Oh, you are looking for a full Pokemon custom deck. Excellent. Well, if you are in the need of a Pokemon deck, you are in luck because we actually have a really good deal going on right now. A half-off sale of all of our Gym Hero and Gym Challenge theme decks. Are you familiar with either of those sets? That's sure. Let me kind of give you a preview of what they're all about. So these are all original in-box theme decks from the Gym Challenge, like you see here with the Sabrina deck, and the Gym Heroes, like the Misty and Brock decks here. So what's really cool about both of these sets that each respective deck is from is that all of the Pokemon are in honor of a specific Pokemon gym leader, as you can see in this specific situation, Sabrina. So all of the cards inside are Sabrina's Pokemon. For example, the Abra inside the deck is a Sabrina's Abra. It's just a really cool, both sets are really cool if you ask me, just because they were very special. I know they have re-released some decks like this, or sets like this, excuse me, with the Gym Leader Pokemon, but the newer sets, not every Pokemon in the set for some reason is the Gym Leader's Pokemon, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but these two sets, every single Pokemon is from a gym leader in the set, so it's really cool. So if you are a big fan of one of the Kanto gym leaders in particular, then these decks would absolutely be a good purchase and half off, so they are a really good deal. We have all 8 of the Kanto gym leaders, and just an example of some of the more popular ones here, and Giovanni is a really good deck. But if you're not interested in just one of the Gym Hero or Gym Challenge theme decks, we can build you a deck from scratch. We can customize or modify a pre-existing deck. We have a variety of accessories like this premium deck box that can really make your Pokemon card game nights just a bit more special and customized. We can also get you one of our plethora of theme decks and customize or remove or add cards if you are a fan of anything you see here. As you can see, we have a lot of really nice vintage and authentic base set and base set 2 theme decks, which the artwork and things like that are just almost worth it on their own to purchase one. But with that said, we really can do whatever you'd like. So what are you in the mood for? Okay, so summer is right around the corner. You'd like a deck to celebrate the season and kind of lean into the aesthetic of a hot summer day and kind of have something that you can utilize that will help you get in the mood for the summertime and things like that. Okay, I like that. I like a bit of theatrics with my card decks as well. I like to switch out some of the displays in my personal collection at home and to reflect the changing of the seasons and just time of year. So I think that's a really cool idea. So what do you have in mind? Do you have a list of specific Pokemon from eras that you would like the deck to be constructed from? I would suggest keeping the era consistent and maybe even the set fairly consistent with the cards inside the deck. It plays a bit better. Okay, so you'd like a vintage set. Do you have the original era, Neo, things like that. A specific set, Team Rocket perhaps. Okay, so you like the look of the vintage series, the base set and base set 2. Both can be played interchangeably, so okay. Alright, so you're just open to a bit of suggestions. Well, let me show you a few theme decks from that era, and maybe we can build around that theme deck. What do you say? Okay, well, let me just look over here and see if any of these might. We could go Grass Chopper. That might be a good one. No, not a fan really of the Sandshrew there. Okay, actually, I think I might have one. Ah, yes. What about Brushfire? It's definitely a hot themed deck. As you can hear, it does have the original damage counters there, which are these small stones, which I think are really cool. Right, the original base set came standard with those set markers, so we can pop this open and take a look inside if you'd like. But I think it has a nice summer vibe to it, since it is a grass fire deck, kind of at the heat of the summer, but the green and nature vibe as well. What do you say? No, unfortunately it does not come with the base set Charizard inside. That's a good question though. Not really feeling this one. Okay, what would you like to see in addition to this in terms of theme? Maybe water instead, okay? You do kind of think of water with summer, swimming pools, going to the lake, things like that, watering the lawn. Sure, okay. Actually, I think I have just the thing. We can stay in that similar base set era and, oh, here we go. Switch it up just a bit. What do you think of this? This is one of my particular favorites in the base set era. As you can see, a powerful Gyarados, and I can wholeheartedly assure you that that holofoil Gyarados is inside this theme deck. So if you are a fan of Gyarados, then you'll be pleased. The Ivysaur, the artwork on this particular theme deck is just exquisite if you ask me. But that grass and water type deck, this might just be the perfect aesthetic and vibe that you're looking for that hot but natural summer day. And just I think the coloration of the Venusaur and Gyarados kind of has that tropical kind of summer look that a lot of people go for. What do you think? I knew you would like that. Okay, so what we will do is we can either sell this deck to you just as it's seen, and of course I'll take you through all of the inner workings of the deck, all of the individual cards, all of the different lists and rule books, things like that. Or I can try to have some additions and customizable options added. You'd like to customize this deck. Now, would you care to go for the premium package? I can offer you a 10% discount on the theme deck itself if you do purchase the premium package, which will come with a premium deck box, full sleeve work, as well as a customizable set of damage counting dice, coins, things like that. The absolute whole display. Perfect, you'll go with the premium package, okay? Well, I will go ahead and set aside a 10% discount on the original theme deck, and I think you will really enjoy this process. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. First, let's pop open your theme deck. These old theme decks open from the side. And let's see what we have inside. So, as I stated before, this is a fully intact theme deck. As you can see, we do have that holofoil Gyarados there, and all of these cards have been really delicately preserved, unsleeved, so we will sleeve those as part of your premium package. But as you can hear, those cards are really snugly and safely fit inside that theme deck packaging. So let's go ahead and open these up, if you'll just bear with me. And we can just slowly peel that packaging. Perfect. Okay. And we will try to safely and delicately remove. I will actually set that to the side, that way you can keep it with your deck box. But as you can see, that hollow foil Gyarados is quite nice. I'll show you all of the cards that come with this deck first. But before we do that, there's something just really nice about a full set of 60 cards. The sound is really great. But as you can see, they're all in probably played to moderate condition. Nothing fancy. These aren't cards that you are going to want to display. These are cards for playing and just enjoying. Sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. We do have your powerful holofoil Gyarados. Notice the original holofoil design of those base set cards, a lot more subtle than the holofoils from the base set 2. Right. But I think just has a nice classic look to it. Sure. So we do have your holofoil Gyarados. We have multiples of your Staryu card. And these are in no particular order, as you can see. But we will get that remedied. As we sleeve them, we do have your Starmie. So a nice combination with that Staryu card. And keep in mind, these original theme deck cards or decks are not the most competitive in terms of tournament play and things like that. As you can see, that nice Magikarp. One thing that I really appreciate about this original base set Magikarp is the small worm on a hook. You can see there that the Magikarp is looking to devour. I think it's just a nice illustration on this. But these theme decks do need to be modified just a bit if you would want to utilize them against a more competitive deck, because they are fairly basic, but that's sort of a bit of the fun. We have your water energy cards there, a few additional Magikarp. We have your second Gyarados, beautiful. So you do have 2 holofoil Gyarados complete in this deck, which is just amazing. We have several Caterpie, which is your, I would say, your primary strategy attacker for your grass type cards. I will set those to the side. The evolution Metapod there. The secondary of offense here in this deck is built around a Metapod and Caterpie combination. Now, one thing that you might find extremely comical is that there was a original error in this theme deck. So we do have the Caterpie and then evolution to Metapod. But included with this deck, strangely enough, is a Beedrill instead of a Butterfree. So this Beedrill is actually completely useless in this deck because there are neither a Weedle or a Kakuna in this deck. So it is a authentic version of the theme deck. So of course the error is included. We have your additional Caterpie. We have some trainers here. Pokemon Breeder. Excellent use with this deck. We have your Grass Energy, of course. And what will, I think, be a selling point for you is we have that nice Bulbasaur. This, I think, will end up being your realistic primary second option, or primary option for grass. Intended was the Caterpie eventually into the Butterfree evolution, but due to the error, it's not possible in this deck. We have the Ivysaur. Beautiful, beautiful artwork there. We have the remainder or the remaining grass energy, and then the additional trainers. We have some super potions, we have some switch, we have some gust of wind, and we have just your additional trainers there, like your Professor Oak. Alright, so we do have all of those cards ready to go. So with your premium set and options here, we can get all of those sleeved and taken care of. Additionally, with this theme deck, I'll show you a bit more of what's included. We have the iconic Lucky Chansey coin. This coin was actually banned in tournament play because it is improperly weighted and consistently throws heads. So it was considered lucky due to the Chansey, and hence the name later on Lucky Egg, which is an item that you can get from the Chansey. Just a fun bit of trivia there. We have a standard rule book, which comes standard with all of these old theme decks, as well as a card list. This has a list of all of the cards in this given era, and also a list of all of the cards that comes in the various base set theme decks. So very cool. As well as your damage markers. These were the stone damage markers, or marble markers that some people refer to them as, but these came standard in all of the base sets, which is kind of humorous because these are what you would typically see inside a fish tank, which I believe is all they really are. So I'm sure it was just a cheap option to be included, but this is actually the only run of cards or theme decks that came with these, and soon they transitioned to the cardboard markers. But a very cool addition to a theme deck. Well, now that we have all of the cards lined up and displayed, might I suggest adding a few cards to the set or deck to help it stand apart or be a bit more unique to your taste, rather than just utilizing the standard cards that come with the theme deck itself. Perhaps you could continue one of the evolutionary lines or add a few more basic Pokemon. For example, we could add the Butterfree that was, I'm sure, originally intended to go along with this card, or I'm sure you wouldn't want to add a more expensive card like Venusaur to continue the Ivysaur. You would like to take a look at the base set Venusaur. It is a bit pricey. That's alright. Oh, well, that's perfect. Give me a moment. I'll go fetch that card. Well, here you have it. Now, this card is indeed in a bit more protective case, but you can, I'm sure, imagine why. A base set holofoil Venusaur is quite expensive, quite valuable, and it's very original, as you can see. Not the base set 2 version, but the base set original. So, if indeed you would like to take this card, I will go ahead and send it in this protective case and let you sleeve it at home if you wish. I would not want to damage it or anything like that before you take it home. It would decrease the value quite a bit and just be a bit cringeworthy to watch. So, are you sure that you'd like to add this to your deck? Alright, well, you have been quite the surprise so far, because a lot of people don't want to spring for the more expensive cards to actually be part of their deck, so I commend you for using the cards like they originally were intended, but please do take great care of that Venusaur. I would hate to see it bent or anything like that if you do bring this deck back in to be adjusted or anything like that. Alright, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get the customizable features of your deck put together. This is, in fact, the most enjoyable aspect of building a custom deck. After all, I'll just set your theme deck here to the side, your theme deck box, as well as your card wrapping. Now, the first thing that we need to cover is your theme deck box. Now, your new deck box is what you will be traveling with your cards in and using during play. Your original theme deck box, this can be utilized as just some display art or things like that, whatever you would like, but I wouldn't suggest using this as your battle box just because the wear and tear on the cardboard could be quite substantial. So with this said, I think the options for deck boxes are clear. We have two great options for this deck. We have a blue as well as a green. So I think both options would be great. The blue obviously would work a bit better with your water type cards, but the green I think might pull it all together just a bit better. These deck boxes have a compartment on the top for things like dice, coins, things like that, and then the actual card holding compartment is here in the larger bottom section. So, what are we thinking? Blue or green? You'll go with the green. Excellent. I think that's a great choice. The summertime green with the grass and even the Gyarados here and the Magikarp have quite a bit of green in the artwork, so I think it will really look nice all together. Okay, so we have your green deck box at the ready. Now the next main decision is the card sleeves. In my opinion, the color of the card sleeves and the color of the deck box are the two most important aspect to aesthetic and just overall feel of the deck once you build a custom deck. So having synergy between the sleeves and the deck box is important. So let me run you through a few options that I think would look great with this deck box. So yes, we have blue, I think. Red could be interesting, and orange. So these I think would be the best options here. Let's start with the blue. The blue is a obvious choice. It would look perfect with the water type and the grass type and would mimic the original theme deck box with the blue and green. I think would look really cool and would kind of match the original overgrowth box. So it's really up to your personal preference, but I think that this one might be a strong choice. The red and orange would also, I think, be healthy choices. The red, I think, would match great with the Ivysaur bulb, but now that I'm looking at it, I think it really is down between the orange and the green, or the blue, rather. The orange, while it doesn't really match the original color per se of the overgrowth box, it's a bit more outside of the box, if pun not intended, rather than the blue. It's kind of a more vibrant version and summertime theme, kind of gives you the thought of growth, flowers, that tropical look that you might be going for, and it does match the Venusaur flower quite a bit. I think if you are planning on using this in late summer, when the heat is at the highest, I think this might look best. It would remind you of that tropical island. If you're looking for a bit earlier in the summer, closer to spring, rain, lush, wet grass, foliage, this would be great. So what are we thinking? You'll go with the blue. Okay. I think that's a great choice. If you look at the original theme deck box, I think this just fits it quite nicely. So I think that's a very, very good choice. So we do have the theme deck box. We have the card sleeves. Your premium package also comes with a standard set of acrylic status condition markers. These are hard wearing and are much more durable than the cardboard counterparts. A authentic, so in this situation, a base set Pikachu metallic coin. So once again, much more hard-wearing than the standard Overgrowth Lucky Chansey coin. So that coin you can almost just use as more of a collector's item. And then the last customizable option that I need a decision from yourself on is the dice. Now, let me see here. What about this one? This might be a great color for the dice, and let me show you why. So that Overgrowth box does have that nice, almost orangish red mixed here in the color scheme of the theme deck. So with the blue and green, I think that a nice subtle orangish red would look absolutely fantastic and help it stand out a bit, and really I think bring in that summer heat feel to the water and vegetation color. What do you think? I like an agreeable customer that aligns with my particular suggestions on taste, so I really am excited that we are able to do this together. All right, so I will go ahead and set your items here to the side, and we will go ahead and start the sleeving process. So you can just sit back, enjoy yourself, and watch as I sleeve your newly selected cards. These blue sleeves are really quite beautiful. So let's try to get these a little bit better in order, shall we? That way, I think, as you can see, that green with that slight blue outline really gives you that Overgrowth feeling when you look at it. So I think you've made a great selection, and I think you'll be pleased once you start using this deck more and more. I think it's one that will really start to grow on you, if you will. So let's get the Metapod next. It's still very amusing to me that the Beedrill was included in this deck. I almost thought it was an error when I read the card list originally, but alas, it was just a simple error on part of the company, which is quite funny. Let's go with your Bulbasaur next. I'm really happy that you decided to go with that Venusaur. Like I said, not a common choice to go with such a rare and expensive card like your base set Venusaur when adding to a playing deck, but one that I really think is going to make you stand out and make this deck even more enjoyable to use. So let's get those Ivysaur now. I also like to make sure that we put these cards in order and make them a bit more enjoyable to look at. It's kind of difficult sometimes to flip through a theme deck or a deck in general and struggle to find what cards are included. So let's go ahead and put these a bit more in order. All right, let's go with your Staryu first. We'll save the Gyarados for last, since it is, well, I guess it's almost a toss-up now between who is going to be your primary Pokemon in this deck. Is it Gyarados or Venusaur? I guess it really depends on the competition, right? and your particular playstyle. But once you play with this Pokemon deck more and more, you'll, I'm sure, start to develop strategies and tendencies that will help dictate your decision making and your comfort level on which Pokemon you would like to try to target and use. Alright, and now on to the Magikarp. And of course, in the future, if you would care to add even more Pokemon cards to this deck, or mix and match, swap cards, things like that, you can definitely bring it in, and we will get to work on it immediately, as well as switch out dice, coins, things like that. We really have just unlimited options for how you can continue to customize these decks as you go along. There's that Gyarados. Just beautiful. And looks amazing with that blue outline. Alright. And last Gyarados. Let's take care. Last Gyarados there. Alright. So there are your Pokemon. I will set your Venusaur to the side. And let's go ahead and start on the trainers. These are a bit more of the boring cards, if you will, but if you are at all familiar with the Pokemon card game, then you will know that the trainers are some of the most important cards in the deck because they help you find cards that you're looking for, switch out cards in tight situations. They're really what most of your strategy is built around. Even though these theme decks were usually known for having fairly straightforward mechanics and trainers, but that's another thing that you might want to look to adjust in the future, are the trainer cards in the deck. So let's go ahead and start on your energies. We will go with the water type energy first. Yes, the more I look at this deck that you've put together here with these customizable options, the more that I really like it. I think you've chosen the absolute best options in terms of color and aesthetic. It's going to look really nice, especially when you get it to put all together in the box. And we are nearing the end here. Just a few more water type energies. And of course, all of the energies are the original base set energies as well. That way the deck is very authentic. Now, I must also remind you that these decks are really only usable against the format or other decks that were in the same format that they existed in. If you try to use one of these decks against a modern deck, of course you would be obliterated and would not work at all. So make sure that these are either utilized in vintage tournaments or eras that are adjacent to this one. Alright, I think we will need just a few more sleeves. And of course I'll throw in a few additional sleeves just so that you have some extras in case any of them rip or need to be changed over time. Alright, or if you would like to add maybe some alternate cards that you would swap in and out depending on what type of deck you are battling against. The choice is really yours. Let's go ahead, get all of these energy cards sleeved. Even the grass type cards, even the energies here, look really good with that blue outline. Really impressed once again with your taste. Right. I know, just sometimes just watching cards being sleeved, the repetitive nature and intricacies of the hand movements can just be kind of relaxing. I completely agree. Just the sounds of cards being handled can just kind of be pleasing to the brain and help you kind of relax, even drift off to sleep sometimes. So if you do need to just rest your eyes, feel free. Right. Almost finished, and then we'll get everything packaged nice and neat in the deck box and get you sent on your way. Hopefully on to utilizing this deck as quickly as possible. It's always good to get some quick enjoyment out of a deck that you put together. Just kind of rewarding in that nature, or in that aspect. Alright, there we are. I'll add these extra sleeves to your deck. So we will get the energies at the back, trainers next, your Gyarados. As you can hear, the sound of the sleeved cards are quite a bit different than the original and quite a bit thicker. So we do have your nice blue outlined theme decks with your Venusaur on top. And let's go ahead and get your deck box ready to be filled to the brim with your newly purchased and sleeved cards. These deck boxes are really nice, sturdy, and just easy to carry, throw in a bag without damaging your cards. So let's go ahead and get these cards placed inside. Nice and gently. Perfect. I'll put your spare theme deck, card sleeves on the back. Nestle the lid ever so delicately back on. And there we are. Let's go ahead and add your dice, your coin first. Damage counters just gently inside, as well as your damage counting dice. And the lid. There we are. All right, your deck box is complete. We have your original theme deck box, as well as your playable deck box. Thank you so much for utilizing the TCG Shop's custom deck building service. You can see the front desk there for payment, and please enjoy your deck and have a wonderful evening. Come again.